So, welcome back once again to Catching Up with Chris. And we're going to dive straight into this with two questions that we've received as of recent. Number one, the question is, what's the single most important discipline for true wealth? And my belief is this. The word discipline is an interesting word because for me, when I think of discipline, I think of my martial arts background. I got my first black belt when I was 21 years old. I now have a brown belt also in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Gracie family, dear friends of mine. I love the entire family and the discipline that I've gotten from the arts. I've mapped across into my entrepreneurial life and my business life and my philanthropic life and my life in general. I think Richard Branson says it best when he says, for me, I don't think of work as work and play. To me, it's all living. So it's just life in general. That discipline and the concept of perfecting something which is never really meant to be perfected. We have in the martial arts where we do 1,000 side kicks or something like that. And, you do it until actually in martial arts we have what are called katas, which are prearranged fights between three or more people. They're in prearranged movements and techniques. So they're like dances. And you want to do the kata till you gain a level of mastery where you no longer dance the dance, but the dance dances you. And that's where you want to get in terms of your chosen expression of creating wealth in the world, is to get to the point where you no longer dance the dance, but the dance dances you, to be that good. And I don't care whether that means in trading or in real estate or whatever. Maya Angelou, the poet, said, you got to do what you do so well they can't take their eyes off you, right? So for me, the most important discipline is, number one, finding out what your true north is, your heart's desire of the Father. Your heart's desire and God's will are one and the same, from my perspective. And so life is about making your business and your life the expression of your soul's purpose. That comes from within, that comes from your heart. And then spending the time to gain that mastery, and beyond mastery lies artistry. And it's the artistry of living is what we're talking about, right? And so when you find that vehicle that you're choosing to do, like for me, I'm in education, right? So I can educate people this way. I'm also in entertainment. And through entertainment and education, I can serve a lot of people around the world, but I've spent a lot of time with what one might think of as being discipline and improving myself, my mindset, the tools that I have. In the book Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000 hour concept, how it takes 10,000 hours to become truly great at something. And if you're the best in the world at something, there'll always be a market for you. There will always be a market for you. So make yourself the best. That's what you need to do. Is make yourself the best. Where Richard Branson becomes the best in business. Where Oprah Winfrey becomes the best in talk shows. Make yourself the best. Have the willingness to spend your 10,000 hours. Right? That equates to about 10 years. And this is what they said, is that nobody developed mastery in anything in less than 10,000 hours. Like the mastery of the violin, it takes about 10,000 hours to do that. That equates to about 10 years. Same thing with chess players. The only person who did it faster than 10 years was Bobby Fischer, who did it in 7. However, he poured more time into it. So have the willingness to really invest your time in your greatest investment, which is yourself. And always remember that an investment in yourself is an investment in your wealth. And when you love investing in yourself, then the discipline is second nature. When you love the process of becoming that person. I love going to jiu-jitsu every day. The belt is just, the belt is simply a representation of the fact that I've become the person who's earned the belt. That's your greatest discipline, is to become the person who can make your greatest dream come true. So keep educating yourself. Okay, question number 2. Chris, what's the number one stumbling block to instant wealth? The number one stumbling block to instant wealth is people's inability to focus on what they've got. What we want to do is live, I'm going to give 2 principles right here. Number 1, we want to live in an attitude of gratitude. If you were to just wake up every morning and do a list in your mind and of all the things that you're grateful for, and I don't do this every morning, quite frankly. So sometimes I stumble over this block too. But it's sometimes we just forget all the great things that we have in our lives. If you just stop right now and you think about one thing that you're really grateful for. I can get something in mind right now. What are you grateful for? And then when you think about, what about that makes you feel grateful? What about that causes you to feel grateful? and you come up with an answer to that question, you get in the feelings, and you really allow yourself to feel those feelings, and you just go through 3 or 4 different things like this. What else are you grateful for? What else are you grateful for? Then you're focusing on how rich your life is, how emotionally textured your life is, rather than on what you don't have. Right? And when we're focusing constantly on all the things that we have, what we focus on expands. I've said this before, where attention goes, energy flows, results show. So you get into this state of instant wealth when you're living in this attitude of gratitude. And number 2, it's always to be resourceful. Remember, it's never a question of resources, no matter what you want to create in your life. Never a question of resources, it's always a question of resourcefulness. The word is resourcefulness. Write that down, right? So if you're truly resourceful, there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's always a way. So if, let's say you're going out to launch a business and you need $50,000, okay? Some people go, oh, I couldn't do that. Well, why not sit down and mindstorm it and write down the question, how can I come up with $50,000 right now and easily? Come up with 20 answers, circle the best one, take immediate action. Right? It's about resourcefulness. It's your ability to get out there and make it happen anyway, to be creative, to think circles around the problems that could come up. And every billionaire before you has done the same exact thing. So keep that in mind as you're moving forward. Stay in that attitude of gratitude and stay resourceful, stay creative, and go out and rock the world. We'll talk to you soon.